So we want to welcome everybody to this York River Academy. This is a panel discussion with current students of York River Academy about their experience here at the school. My name is Miss Collier. I have been the math teacher at York River Academy since it began in 2002. We have Raven. She's a junior, so Raven's here. We have Nathan. He is also a junior. And we also have Harvey, who is also a junior. And we're going to just talk about our experiences here at York River Academy. I'm going to ask them questions that are typical when we have these panel discussions with students in person that they would ask. So we're going to begin. So the first thing I want to talk about is why you personally chose to come to York River Academy. So we'll begin with Nathan, why did you choose to come to York River?
So I first saw the panel, when they went around the schools and they talked about it. And I just thought, I saw how it was one hallway. There's less people in the classrooms. There's more technology involved in doing anything, even outside of this current situation. Everything was online. So that was a big seller for me. I really like using a computer. I like doing everything online. So I just was like, I have to jump on it while I have the opportunity. And now it's gotten me here, and I enjoy it.
Good. Raven, same question. Why did you choose to come to York River?
So, at my old school, they came around because, they do that a lot, and they were, introduced to school and talking about it, and at first I was just like, I wrote my name down on the thingy, but I was like, I'm not doing this. I don't know, wasn't too into it at first. Then I went to high school, and that year was not the best, grade-wise, and then I considered it more, and then my mom talked about it, and we were like, this would probably be, the best decision for me at the time, and it was, so that's...
Yeah, I will note that Raven, Nathan and Harvey both started York River as 9th graders, but Raven, you started as a 10th grader.
Yeah.
And one of the things that happened is you were able to recover credit so you can graduate on time. Yeah, so I think that's worked out nice, too, for you.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, and then Harvey, and I will, full disclosure, Harvey is my son, so I'm also a parent of a York River Academy student. So Harvey, why did you choose to come to York River Academy?
It was mostly my mom, but it was because I was not getting the best grades in middle school, and I knew what the school was because of again my mom, so I knew that it would probably be good if I went there. But it was, again, my mom said, you're going to the school whether you want to or not.
I don't know if I was that tough, but you might be right. So, but Harvey, even though you did come to the school because, again, you've had full knowledge of York River Academy since you were born, do you think that it was a good decision for you to come to York River?
Yes, I don't think I would be doing as well in school or as happy if I went to a regular school.
Yeah. And then Harvey also participates in the New Horizons programs. It's cybersecurity, right?
Networking. Mm-hmm.
Networking. I should have known that, but I didn't. Again, it's a little above the math teacher's head for that one. So that's an opportunity he had as well as going to York River. And I will say I have a second son who is not going to York River because I don't think he's as good as a fit. So he did not go to York River. So it's not a place for everybody, but it is the right place for many students. All right. So the next kind of thing we're going to talk about is there anything that you had to give up to when you came to York River Academy, and then how does that balance with the things that you gained when you came to York River? So if anybody wants to start that, you can.
I would say, well, a big one for me was probably the dress code, which I've learned to develop and get used to after a while. But at first, I was just that was the one thing I was just that's very hard for me. But over time, it got easier. So just learned to deal with it. Yeah, and it kind of helps in a way. I didn't know at the time, but I don't really have to worry about what I'm really gonna wear the next day or figure all that out. Just know the clothes I have to wear. Yeah. So it's not as much stressing time about it, because before I would take like an hour deciding my outfit. So that, I guess, came in handy, but that was a big one for me. Probably like dances, like school dances too, but
Yeah.
like knowing that I can go to other ones, to my other schools, that was like fine for me. So obviously there's not enough kids for us to even have a dance, but like I'm glad I'm still able to do that. So it didn't really take much away from that.
That's a really good point. Like if you want to go to the dances and stuff, you're still eligible because you're still a York County student. So you still can, your friends can still bring you to those dances. And I will say with the uniform, like it's still, even though it's a uniform, there's still like these individual, like there's still a way to individualize it. Like I still feel like Raven, I think Raven, you have
Bring
a
a little
style
something
that
to
still,
it.
yeah, you add a little zhuzh, if you will, a little spice, to make it, to make it your own. Other thing, like I guess since we're talking about uniform, Nathan, what was your experience with the uniform?
So when I first heard about uniforms, I was like, I don't know about this. This is kind of weird. But as time went on and I got explained like why we had the uniforms, kind of like the business workplace kind of thing, I realized there's a whole slew of options in the uniform where it matches the dress code, where you can get kind of like lightweight, a lightweight shirt and everything. And after that, I was like, this is great. I absolutely love it. That was not, it was something that, like Raven said, you didn't have to really think about it. You just had to kind of make sure that it matched. And that was my experience. I thought it was great.
Yep. Harvey, how about you? What was your experience with uniforms?
It was, I was kind of expecting it, so I knew what it was. It changed though, so now from you could only have a certain colors of shirts to you can have any color shirt, but just can't have a logo on it.
Yeah, it used to be that it has to be a polo, and it still has to be a solid polo, but it used to be that it had to be like white, gray, or black. And then we kind of made a decision as a staff, it's like any solid polo, as long as it's a solid color and doesn't have like a big logo, although we have York River Academy logo shirts, that would work. And it did, I think people were more pleased with that they could say, okay, I can wear my purple one, I can wear my blue one, I can wear my, Harvey Michael has a hot pink one, so you can have all your different colors. So that does help. Go ahead, Raven, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say, I also look forward to if you get good attendance. What was it the whole, I want to say quarter or month? I don't know exactly. But if you have good attendance, you get a dress down day, which I look more forward to it because, it's like, oh, you do something, you get something out of it. So that's kind of cool. Even though it's one day, it's better than not at all. You know what I mean? So that's
perfect. Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that because our quarter and a month is the same thing. So if it was a quarter a month, at York River, but if you were getting perfect attendance, we would post that up, and then those students got a free dress day. So if you got perfect attendance, you got to, as long as it was in county code, you could free dress day, and so it was a nice reward. So that was helpful, and I guess that kind of leads us to our next kind of topic was. At York River Academy, we're a 4x4 instead of classes A-B schedule. So the difference is A-B schedule is you have the same 7 classes all year. One class you have every day and the other ones you have every other day. At York River Academy, you have 8 classes. You have 4 first semester and you have them every day. And you have 4 second semester every day, how about experiences with that? Like how you feel about that, the 4x4 schedule?
So at first, I thought it was a bit different because it was like after that first day, I was kind of expecting in the back of my head to come back and have to go to a whole new set of classes. But as soon as I came back that next day and realized I have to take these 4 classes again, they're exactly the same, back to back. I was like, interesting. It didn't really set in with me until 2 weeks later, and I was like, you know what, this is nice, because what happens is you take these 4, and then as soon as the end of the year comes around, where you kind of switch semesters, you don't have to worry about those first 4 classes anymore. And then you can kind of just push them to the back of your mind and then focus on the next set of classes, which I thought was kind of nice.
Well, and I think too, to kind of homework. You think about homework. You only have homework for 4 classes when there is homework, because a lot of teachers at your group. Go ahead, Raven. What were you about to say?
I was just gonna say, like, we rarely get it. I mean, I guess like what history every blue moon, but like not compared to, I guess, like other high schools, at least in my opinion.
No, and I agree. There is less homework, I think, because we do push you to do more work in class.
Yeah, which I think is better. Like, it just makes more sense to me. That's another reason, like, I chose to come here, because like a school like actually got that, and most don't like to send kids home with like piles of homework, and it's like they don't understand it, and if they do, like, why send them home with more?
It sounds like you gotta. That's kind of, yeah, I agree. Like we at York River want to support you and make sure that you guys are learning it. So that's why we try to keep work in class as much as possible. Again, for history, you have to do some reading, some questions outside, but
nothing too much.
It's nothing too much. Like how long would you say? 15 minutes?
Yeah, if anything.
And then I'm gonna
an hour.
Like, oh gosh, yeah. I'm gonna kind of put on my mommy hat. And the thing with Harvey is, and Harvey, I'm gonna have you speak to this as well. One of the things was a big issue with Harvey in 8th grade or in middle school was we would have that evening kind of, I wouldn't say fight, but argument about getting homework done. And I will say that we have not had that argument since he started York River Academy. So Harvey, I'm putting you on the spot again. As far as homework and classwork, what are your experiences with that?
So every York River year, I have had one class that is full year. The first time I had PE and French, the second year I PE and French, and this year I have the New Horizons course. So that none of those have homework, but they are full year, and it's just a little abnormal, and so. But homework, I haven't had any except for if I haven't finished something, so I have to do it at home, and usually it's mostly done, so it's not that hard. Or history, which isn't never that hard.
Yeah. And Harvey, I'm glad you mentioned about the full year courses. So we don't have a foreign language teacher at River Academy, but we still offer it through the virtual high school, and those classes would be full year. And then speaking of PE, so PE at York River Academy is done through the virtual high school, but it is most of the time, except with the exception of students who balance it out with another year-round course, it's part of that 4x4. So does anybody want to talk about their experience with PE? Raven, did you take PE at York River?
I did, but yeah, I think I did. Actually, I
don't know if you did or not.
I think I walk with them sometimes. Like at the end of class, I don't think I'm taking it now, but I don't think I like took the course. I had driver's ed, but like I don't think that, you know what I mean? I didn't like have PE.
That's what I thought. So Nathan, do you mind? I'm going to switch it over to you, Nathan. How about your experience with PE at York River?
So my experience with PE at York River was kind of one of the things I had to give up when I was going from the middle school to here, was because right here at the York River Academy, everything's done online. So everything's through virtual. So things that you would do in normal PE classes, like play games or being in a gym, is not really what you expect here, as most of the PE stuff is more covered towards like your heart and what you should do to protect it and what you should do to keep yourself healthy, on top of the fact that yes, you still actually have to do physical like workouts, but like going for a walk around like the neighborhood, or sometimes at the end of class, if the teacher's done planning or if the teacher has time, they'll take, I don't know how true this is now, but when it used to be is that we'd go to the gym. We go to the gym and you can walk around and you can count that as your physical activity, so you don't have to do it outside of school.
Yep. And when he says a teacher, one of the teachers at the teacher of PE is a virtual teacher, and they teach PE in other places in the county. But there's also a teacher from York River Academy in the room with you. And it switches every other day what teacher you'll have in the room with you. And that teacher I always say like about the last half hour, will take the group to the gym and say, all right, let's get moving. Because York River Academy, we do have a gym, and we go in there and they play basketball and stuff. And again, that counts as your physical activity. So, all right. One of the other questions we get a lot from students is what happens as far as getting in trouble at York River Academy, how's discipline, and I guess the relationship with the principal, and how that works out. So I don't know what to put anybody in the spot. Like, have you been in trouble?
I can answer that. I've never been in trouble myself, but it's just kind of something that you would get is having a personal relationship with the principal, where he'll come up to you and he'll say hi, he'll kind of talk to you a little bit, get to know you. But in terms of getting in trouble, I would say that it's kind of first time you get in trouble, you kind of meet with him, talk to him about what you can do differently instead of being pulled out of class to come and speak to him. And other times, like the second and third times, is when you kind of have calls home to parents, and then anything else from that is just kind of your parents will come to the school, kind of talk to the principal about what you can do differently instead of having them continue to get phone calls. And then anything after that, I would assume it just, I don't know. I've never been in trouble before.
Well, and I think it's because, like, I think with a principal, it's like we try to build more relationships. So it's not necessarily like, it is different than probably when there's a regular high school where you don't have those relationships. Like Mr. Cross, the principal, knows all of you. So the first time he meets you isn't you getting in trouble. He knows you, and there's more of a relationship there. So I think that's what you kind of speak to. It's kind of like, what can we do to improve behavior more than how dare you?
He's also very understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, he's always wants to hear your side of the story. Like he's never been like not that I've been in trouble, but I think I was in your class once. I was sent to his office over. But like he always he's never just like quick to believe whoever says it. Like he always wants to hear your side, and he's always been very understanding to me, saying like he stands and like what I say. Then will either have me stay in there till he decides I go back, or half the time just send me back. I've been there like that, but like he's just understanding. Like it's never just like screaming or blaming you. It's never been like that. So
I would say, how about as the staff as a whole, how would you feel as though our teachers, how do teachers deal with students in the different ways than you have with other teachers, or the same even?
Like pull them out of class, or from what I've seen, maybe talk to them in the hallway, then give them time to cool off and they come back in, or move their seat. Like it just depends on the situation, but nothing like in front of everybody. I feel like it's you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think, and again, I'm kind of teaching or coming from a parent and a teacher, is like, it's all about support, trying to support the student as much as possible. But there are times where you have to go. There are times. Yeah. So Harvey, did you have anything to say to that?
I have been in trouble, and it's never that bad. It's always like, I think I got in trouble twice for the same thing. So he was like, you're going to go see the guidance counselor to try to figure out why you're really to fix it, instead of don't do that again. We're going to try to fix it with you.
Good. All right. I guess the next thing I want to talk about is bus rides, and I guess kind of school schedule, because we do start later. So we don't start till like 8:20 something, and we end later. We end at 3:10, which is about an hour shift from the regular high schools. So I don't know if like bus experience, how that has worked out for you, because it is a longer bus ride for some students. You know, how are the bus rides, and like that.
So I'll go ahead and cover this one. I'll cover my freshman year, and then I think that's about it. I think just freshman year I rode the bus. So what happened was I had a somewhat long bus ride, mostly because I live about 20 minutes from the school as it is. So my bus covered a large portion of the area where I live at. So I would be usually like the third or fourth to the last stop to be picked up. So she would come pick me up, and then we'd go back around and pick up other kids. But that
Yeah.
basically just meant that it was a kind of long bus ride for being picked up at about 7:30 in the morning and still not getting there until on a good day 8:10. Sometimes
Yeah.
on a bad day, if there was like a problem with the bus or anything, which happens sometimes. So if you take the bus,
It
it
does.
happens. Don't freak out. We didn't, but some other way, nine out of 10 times riding the bus was overall positive. I think at least the bus driver I had was very animated and liked to make relations and would talk to people as they got on and off the bus. It was a pleasant experience, but actually the sophomore year, I was told to take a van. Now
Okay.
that was a
That's
bit different
Mhm.
because it really depends on where you live at. So if you're out of way, like somewhere that the bus would be difficult to come and pick you up at, they would send a van with you. You get a smaller group of people, usually no more than 5 or 6 kids, and then it would be a shorter ride because she comes directly to you to pick you up, she or he, but they will. It's different because it's a smaller vehicle, and on that moment you can be more kind of personal with the van driver, and they'll
Yeah.
be kind of more personal with you. So but overall, both experiences, whether it's the bus or the van, I've found are very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Everybody's just kind of super friendly, depending on the type of morning. But most days, it's great.
Depending on the morning, yeah. Because Raven, you normally took a van, right? Isn't that what
Yeah,
you normally
we were
took?
actually on the same van. We sat
Oh, okay.
right beside. We were squished in the back, but I got used to it. We had what? How many people? One, two.
I mean, it was a full van, if I remember
Yeah,
right.
but a lot of
Yeah.
times, like she'd have like one of us sit in the front. That was kind of mainly me, but that was kind of like a privilege to me, so because you don't have to be too crammed in the back. But like, it's a good sized van. Like
Yeah.
like you said, depends how many people, but a lot of times somebody wouldn't be there that day, so you'd have like a little more room than usual. But like the ride wasn't like 30 minutes, but I kind of liked it, like just being able to relax before like school, besides like going straight there.
Yeah.
Like I was used to like getting there in 5 minutes, like I can like enjoy it and like go on my
Yeah.
phone, just like
Listen to
talk
music
to
on
the
your
van
phone.
driver. Like we had a lot of conversations. Like it was fun, like
Yeah.
for most of it.
But it's definitely different renting a van than a bus.
Yeah, very.
It's
At first,
definitely
I wouldn't even know a van was coming. I was so confused. I was like, she
Oh,
opened
you
the door.
can
I was like,
hear it.
But yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Compared to a bus, it's like a hybrid, and then it's there at your house, and you're like, oh my gosh, where did you come from?
Yeah, I do like how they pull up like right by your house though, instead of like at a bus stop and all that. So you don't, especially it comes in handy when it's like freezing or like raining and all that stuff. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. And Harvey didn't ride a bus. He rides in with mom. Although you are going to ride a bus, he does ride a bus to New Horizons. So there are also, if you go to New Horizons, there is a bus that takes you. You leave class, grab your lunch, and normally eat the lunch on the road. So I'm glad I said lunch, because lunch at your academy, you go, we do have a lunch room. It has like pool and other table games, ping pong. There's access to a microwave where you can heat up food. But you also, if you buy lunch, you can pick it up from the middle school and then you walk it back. So is there any experiences during lunch or how that works?
We all have lunch at the same time, which
Yep.
is kind of cool because
Yeah.
at least at the high school I was at, like there's like different timings for like a lot of the grades, or it's very like confusing. But like since there's not as many kids, we all have lunch at once in the same room, so that's like
That is nice.
it's
Yeah.
like it's a different. I like it.
It is different.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that the lunchroom isn't as loud, but you guys are still really joyful in there.
Definitely not as
Like
loud.
yeah. But definitely like a joyful
Everyone's like
time.
in their own like conversation, so it's not like, you know, screaming or just not as noisy.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
And there's I was gonna say a pool table. There's not a pool table. What there's there is?
Yeah, there's two.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's
I didn't know. I was like, I know there's I forgot what they're called, but there's games and stuff.
Yeah.
So you
The
can like
soccer game.
you don't have to
Oh
just
yeah, what is that one? Yeah, the soccer game, the whatever that one where you spin for soccer.
That's that's
I
what
can't remember the name of it.
me either.
Yeah.
It is fun. Those
Yeah.
are like fun things to do. And most
Yeah.
schools have. So.
And for lunch, mostly, when you have it in the cafeteria, there's always some people crowding around the pool table, having like a pool game. So you can kind of watch them, and it's always fun to see how competitive they get, to see who will win. And it kind of, sometimes those games will literally go down to the very last second, to the point where like the teachers will come over and be like, you got to stop playing the game.
And then isn't there a tennis?
Yeah, table.
Yeah. I was about to say I've seen a lot of people do that with ping pong ball and stuff. That's fun.
Yeah. Yep. And Harvey, do you have anything to mention about lunch?
You can bring Switch. I brought my Switch a lot of the time so that I could play games with my friends.
Yeah. There's a lot of game playing during lunchtime. It can get intense in there.
Go ahead. I guess I should also mention, I know how some schools you're not allowed to use technology at lunch, but like for York River Academy, we only have a certain set of rules. And the rules are, don't play your audio too loud. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to play audio, use your headphones to where nobody can really, you're not bothering anybody. But other than that, there's not really any limit. You can use your phone. At some times I've actually used my laptop just because I forgot what I was doing, but they didn't tell me I couldn't. So there's no real limit other than, don't be distracting. Obviously don't take photos of people that you don't have permission of. That's kind of just a rule. But main ones that you would probably get in trouble for is playing your audio too loud, and that's probably it. If you
having your headphones in the hallway, because I've
that
numerous of times, but like I've never been in like trouble for it, because like obviously I forget, like it's just such a habit for me, especially for my last school. I'm just like, but like I've never gotten in trouble for it, but they love to remind me that, so
Yep. Well, in our we have just the one hallway, and when you switch classes, a lot less intense. So
I know it's for safety and stuff. Like
we just like take out your headphones, but in between classes you can definitely have your phone. Just we ask that you not have your headphones in. Yeah. All right, so we're just gonna do kind of close up and maybe like the closing argument for York River Academy, but just anything else you guys want to share before we end the meeting? Pros, cons of York River Academy. Nathan, we'll go in order.
Let's see. Some pros. You have less classes to deal with at a time. Another pro is when you're in that class, you can kind of build a one-on-one relationship with the teacher where you can talk to them if you have a problem. Most of these teachers they have Remind set up. So if you have like questions you can ask them outside of class hours, as long as it's not too late. So I consider that a pro. And another one I would say is just having the smaller class sizes, because that allows you to just kind of open yourself up and kind of get to know your classmates better than being in a class of 25 to 30 people, which nowadays it's a lot of people in one class.
It really is.
But some cons would be like for first arriving students, it would probably be the dress code at first, and then having I would say not really having a gym class where you just kind of go for 90 minutes and just kind of active. But after a while, you don't really consider those things cons, because some people, most of the time during gym, you can kind of, when you're done with the main work, you can also use that time to work on some of your other classes as well, which I found that very helpful. Like if you missed a day or two, like I have a couple times. You can take your gym block. If you finish your gym work, then you can start working on the classes that you missed and you have to catch up on, which is actually another pro. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have that.
Turn into a pro again. Look at you.
It's like if you think about it, it kind of intertwines with each other. But I don't really have that many cons. Once you've been here for a while, everything just kind of. There are a few cons that'll come up here and there, but any I can think of right off the top of my head.
Yep. All right, Reagan, go ahead.
Yeah. So pros, like Nathan was saying, like having smaller like classes compared to like other high schools, like I feel like it's not only better for like your focus, but like you get more like help and interaction with the teacher. Cause like from my experience being in like a huge high school and like 7 kids in one class, like I never really got help. Or and if I like needed it, I never really said anything because I don't know, just always I don't know. But like I feel like it's a lot more easier like communication wise and like if I don't understand something, I just know I'm gonna like understand it by the end of the class because like they don't just sit around and like until you get it. Like they'll like ask you or like check up on you and like walk around and like see what you need to work on. So you can't really get away with like not doing anything like you can in like other classes because I did for a long time or like sleeping or anything, which they're kind of on you about that, which like is a good thing though. And just like not having A and B classes, that was a big thing for me too. Like that was just so much stress and work on me, like having to like change up every single day and like try to keep up with like the different ones at once. Like I like how it just stays for that quarter. You know what you got to do, you know what your classes are, and then when next one comes, it's just the same thing every day. So you know what you got to do once again. So besides that, I don't really have any cons. I mean, there's no sports or anything, but like you can do sports other places and stuff, but obviously you're not going to really have sports at a school with that many like little people and like no dances, but like that you kind of get used to that. And yeah, that's all I would say.
Yeah. And we don't have a lot of clubs, but if you want to do a club, you can also talk to Mr. Cross about starting one as well.
Yeah. If you're interested.
So. Perfect. Did you want to say something, Nathan?
Well, I was gonna say I think we did have a couple clubs at the moment. One of the teachers,
like Key Club or something. I don't know.
Key Club.
Yeah, we had Key Club, and then I was also gonna mention about helping, like the teachers helping the students. There's one teacher in specific that does not like to sit down. If you're in class with them, they will hover around and just kind of wait until you have a question, and as soon as you raise your hand, they'll run right over to you and ask what your question.
I feel very attacked right now. Yeah,
that's called helicopter.
Yeah, it's called helicopter teaching.
But it's not bad.
Michael, do you have any like pros, cons of coming to York River?
Really, I just like it because you don't feel penalized for asking a question. Sometimes in middle school, I would feel penalized for not understanding something.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. I'm going to thank you again. So thank you, Nathan, Raven, and Harvey.